And good morning, everyone. This is Mark Huber. We have Tim Hawkins, Christian comedian, on the phone with us this morning. Good morning, Tim. How you doing today?
Good morning. It's a beautiful day.
It sure is. It's sunny and hot and a lovely summer day here in Alabama.
Well, I live in St. Louis. It's kind of broke. We're in the 60s right now, so it's just everybody's outside mowing their lawn and just enjoying it.
Wow. Well, that's good. Y'all got the cool weather. We're still going to be in the 90s through the weekend. We get a break by Monday, I think. So at least we'll cool down a little bit. And it'll be cool when you're here next week. You'll be coming in to Gadsden next Friday, so it'll cool down by then.
Sure. Yes, sir. Well, thanks. Now Gadsden, help me now. Is that Central Alabama?
Actually, it's Northeast Alabama.
Northeast,
if you kind of maybe about 60 miles northeast of Birmingham.
Yeah. Well, I know I've been there. We're actually, Alabama's our second home. We got a little place down in Gulf Shores, man. We just keep coming down there, so it's our second home. We love it.
Well, good deal. That is great. Tim is coming to Gadsden, and so we made contact with his people to maybe do an interview and talk with him. And Tim, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know a lot about you. My daughter is a big fan, and so she's kind of got me into Tim Hawkins. You know, a few years ago, she would be laughing. You'd hear somebody in the house like they were, gasping for air, and you'd run in there and think you'd have to go do the Heimlich on somebody. And she would just be in there in tears, just laughing. And I'd say, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm listening and watching Tim Hawkins." I said, "Who's Tim Hawkins?" And then, she would tell me and show me the videos, and we would all laugh. So she got me started on Tim Hawkins. And when you were in Huntsville, I think it's a couple of years ago at the Von Braun, I kind of surprised her with that. I bought her some tickets to go over there, so we went over to see you. And we were just sitting like right on the front. And my son, after we left, he told his mother, he said, "I think that is the most I have ever seen my dad laugh." I mean, we were just in tears. So I'm saying all that to say this. If you haven't seen Tim, you need to get tickets and come to Gadsden and see him. It is good, family, fun. It's hilarious. And how long have you been doing this, Tim?
Man, it's been a long time. It's been about 18 years full time.
Wow.
And it's crazy. I'm thankful, man. I'm telling you, I'm just thankful to be employed, to be honest with you. And I found a way to take my lunacy and make a living and pay the bills. And, but that's cool. I think that's cool that you guys get to share that time together and laugh together. I remember when I was a kid, my dad and I used to watch Johnny Carson together, and I just still remember we just laughing, just having those shared experiences, and that's one of the greatest things that about my job is that to provide cool shows that people can come to, and I don't know, and have a memory, make a memory, and that's cool. Well, tell your daughter I said thanks.
Oh, I sure will, and we're coming to Gadsden too, but of course now this is kind of funny too because and I can't really go into the full details, but she had a test coming up, that she was going to have to take, and she wasn't real happy about having to do it. And I said, "Hey, look," I said, "if you'll just go on, take the test, do the best you can." I said, "I'll buy you tickets and carry you to see Tim in Gadsden." "Oh, okay, all right, I will." So anyway, she went on, and did all that, and then afterwards I said, "I bought the tickets 8 months ago."
Yeah.
So anyway, she just kind of gave me that look, because she's been kind of when they released the date for Gadsden, she let us know then that you're going to be coming to town. I could tell you some of the silly stuff she done, but then again, she's going to be listening to this interview, and I'm probably going to be in serious trouble anyway. She took
Isn't that your job as a dad to embarrass your?
Okay, all right. You talked me into it. I'll go ahead and do it. We have family portraits on our piano in our living room. She printed out your picture and replaced all of our pictures with yours in the living room as a hint that you were coming to Gadsden. So anyway,
take it over.
Yeah, in other words, buy tickets, Dad. We're going to go see Tim.
I think I might just show up for Christmas too. I don't know. I feel like I'm part of your family. People are like so used to seeing my face in your house.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Very familiar now. That's like I say, you know,
I
2
wear a
years ago.
large shirt, yeah, whatever, yeah.
Yeah. So you've been doing this
It
for
was
about...
2 years ago you guys saw me? Yeah.
Do what now? Go ahead.
You saw me a couple years ago? Is that when you saw me?
Yes, when you were in Huntsville the last time. I think that was probably about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, good. Well, hey, second time's a charm. We're going to have even more fun this time.
Okay. Well, I'm planning on laughing a lot, or I hope I am. Last time it was just unreal. And I tell people, too, I had another friend that went to the same show, and they sat in the balcony, and you know, they enjoyed the show as well. But I said, look, if you go see Tim again, you're going to have to get up close. I said, a lot of it is the facial expressions. I said, and if you're, you know, really far back, you know, you can't see exactly everything that's going on. But you just had us rolling. I mean, it's just awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, just great Christian comedy.
I think, yeah. Well, it's just I use my face as a punchline. You know, I mean, I think a lot of the times when we laugh at our friends and stuff, it's usually the animation they put into their faces when you know, or their voices when they tell a story. So a lot of these places we go to, they have real nice videos so the people in the back can see it. But you know, a lot of times people are just laughing because who's that? What is it? What is he thinking? You know, what is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
I think they try to get into your mind a little too much. There's not a whole lot going on up there. I'm going to be honest with you, but you know, it's just
well, we all need to laugh. You know, there's too much stress, you know, and that, you know, what is it, supposedly releases these endorphins that are good for you and stuff. So it is good to laugh. I mean, you know, there's just too much stress in the world now. So it's good to have, you know, good comedy and stuff.
Oh, even as a comedian, I deal with that too. It's like for a while, I'm like, I need to be more happy. Things, even for a comedian, life gets serious and you don't really take time out and really, you know, enjoy life, and we're always busy doing stuff, you know, instead of just being in the moment and you know, enjoying our families, enjoying the amazing life that we've been given. So yeah, man, I'm right there with you. We need to be a little more happy. We can't be turning these grumpy old men.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's true. You know? Talking about being busy, how many days a year, you know, are you on the road or doing shows, or you know?
We did about 90 to 100 shows a year, and I've done that for several years. And you know, you add travel onto that probably makes it, you know, 160, 170. You know, when that I'm traveling. So I'm looking forward. Looking forward to taking some time off next year and have a little sabbatical time. We just had a grandchild, so I'm gonna great, be available and see him a little more. Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
So yeah, man. So I'd like to take a break. I really love what I do, but even when you're doing what you love, it's sometimes you got to break off and take some time away and kind of recharge.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty demanding. I mean, it's the travel itself. The job is just the travel. I mean, I enjoy the performing. That's been very enjoyable. Sometimes you deal with boredom, or you deal with broken down buses, or you know, delayed planes, or whatever it is, or just being away from your family. That takes kind of a toll. You got to really work hard to keep in that, you know, some time open for your own life. You know?
Right. Most of the artists that I interview and talk to, that seems to be one of the biggest negatives, is being away from family. You know, a lot of the artists, you know, especially, you know, they're like maybe Thursday through Sunday on the road, so they may be home, you know, Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and that's kind of a big toll, you know, being away from your family. Yeah.
Well, and it's like your job takes away all your energy. It's like you feel like your family's getting the scraps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're home, even when you're home, sometimes you're so worn out from being out. So it's really finding that you know, what's the correct, how much do I really need to be doing here, to really make that worth it? Because then it's too much, then you lose really the purpose of why you're doing it in the first place. I mean, if you're gaining the world and losing your family.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
oh yeah,
you know, that's really a challenge, but still, I mean, it's finding something. I think finding something that you love to do. There's still a cost. There's still, you have to weigh it out and what you're willing to pay.
Mm-hmm. So again, I'm being honest. I don't know much of your background. I have seen your shows and seen your videos and stuff. How did you actually get started in doing comedy?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's no real school for it. You just kind of have to find audiences. I started doing little open mic nights in comedy clubs locally, but to be more, I learned mostly in the church. I would do. My friend that would ask me to do some, can I be funny for 5 minutes in front of their youth group one night, and I said yes, even though I had nothing. I had no material or anything. But it's just going up and learn how to survive from an audience, because a Christian audience, they're not gonna. You're not gonna get as much heckling. They're gonna throw a beer bottle at you,
right?
But they're also not gonna laugh if it's not funny.
True.
They're very sober, and they're very cogent. And they look. You got to bring it. They'll be nice for a few minutes, but you got to bring it. So really, I just tried to find audiences. I would do little spots, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, for like adults. Like adult appreciation they have at churches. They have or volunteer appreciation stuff, or kids workers, or couples nights, things like that. A lot of youth stuff. And you just kind of develop a style. You just kind of, this is what works, this is what doesn't work, and then the internet came along. The YouTube came along, and that just allowed me to just it was just putting content out there where you kind of build your own fan base. So now I've been doing ticketed shows for the last 10 years, where you can go into a town and people know who you are, and you can sell enough tickets to do a show and kind of get a tour going. And I don't know the secret formula for what makes a video viral. I think it's just something where you want to make something that people are like, you've got to see this. Where they, like your daughter, like,
yes, exactly,
like she's having a fit in the other room, and you're like, well, I got to see it too, right? So that's kind of the way the internet works, but in a larger scale. So, but it came along at just the right time. That's the engine for why I can do this the way I do it.
Well, great. So you've actually been doing this from a young age, from youth, and actually doing comedy. Maybe not professionally, but you've been doing it since then.
Right. In my 20s, I kind of started messing around with it, but it took a good 10 years before I went full time, because it takes a while to figure it out, and it takes a lot of stage time and all that. It's like doing radio, it's like, you probably found that out. It's like when you first start, you're just helping as few people hear this as possible, because you don't know what you're doing, but then you figure it out. I
started when I was 4 in radio.
I'm telling you. I wish I was started before at comedy.
Well, Dad built the station here
20 years ago.
So I've been working here like 45 years. I wished I could retire. My retirement plan is going to be death. So that's that's it. When you have your own business, that's it.
No kidding. It's right. That what retire. That's what has no meaning to you.
No, exactly.
Man. But yeah, it just takes time, and you have to challenge yourself and kind of face your fears of rejection and all that kind of.
Okay, now wait a minute. Hold on. How can somebody like you have fears? Do you have fears of doing a show, of getting in front of people, or on really?
Well, it used to be that way. I used to, the nervousness was different. In the beginning, it was like real sharp pains in my stomach, like I was going to get physically sick. I didn't know how it was going to go. Now it's different. It's more about an anxiety. You're going to play a football game. You're pumped up. You're just ready to go. Your breathing gets a little heavier. You're kind of like, let's get this show on the road, kind of a thing. But I think if it wasn't there, I'd be worried. Like there's got to be a little bit of, that's more of a creative energy. I call it now when you get butterflies. It means something's about to happen. If I didn't have that, then I would be kind of concerned. Like, am I just not caring anymore? I want to really serve these people. The people who paid for a ticket who come to a show, you want to give them the best that you have, and be, and even though I perform some of this stuff hundreds of times, some of these jokes and things, I want to do it, make it fresh, and give them the best that I have, and give them that, that respect.
it's still funny, even though you've seen it, because most of the stuff, or a lot of the stuff,
right.
when we seen you in Huntsville, seen, saw, whatever. I mean, I'll get grammar corrected, I'm sure, on that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
You know, whatever the correct word is, visibly noticed you in Huntsville. When we were over there, you know, some of the material, you know, we had already seen because Hallie had showed us that.
Sure.
But it didn't make any difference. I mean, it was just as hilarious or more hilarious in person than seeing it on, you know, a computer screen. So I want to encourage everybody, you know, look, if you've seen Tim on YouTube, if you've seen him in person, if you have no clue who Tim Hawkins is, come see him. Down here at Gadsden, because I mean it is some good family Christian fun, and you will laugh. I mean, you will have a great time. But I know I will. Everybody else might be sitting there staring at you, you know. But you
got to guarantee that if you don't laugh, I guarantee I will just be very apologetic. I'm very sorry, but you will be. You will be entertained, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm. Now, when
it might inspire you. You might think you're better than I am. You can get up there and do it. Need more comics anyway.
No, my daughter tells me all the time that I think I'm funny, but I'm not. So I gave up on comedy a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you travel, do you do a lot of, miles on the road, or do you fly mostly, or is it just depending on, you know, where the events are at?
Yeah, we mostly do. I've been using a tour bus for many years now. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of music in my show, and we started bringing our own equipment, things like that, monitors, and you know, all my guitars. I'm playing piano on stage now, and so it's just like we're. So it's kind of grown, and it's hard to do that on a plane now. I mean, we'll fly for like going to the coast or whatever to do, you know, shows a couple thousand miles away, but it's mostly on a bus, and that's a pretty cool way to travel. You know, the expenses, you know, you can pay a lot for gas, but it's kind of a home away from home. And like we were talking about before, sometimes when you're away from home and your own bed and all this kind of stuff. It's nice to have kind of a thing like a bus that you can kind of relax on, and you know, we got our Xbox playing and our you know, Netflix or whatever, DirecTV, whatever we're watching during the day. Because really, I mean, if you've got a lot of downtime. I mean, to kind of fill that space. I mean, we get at a place at 10 o'clock in the morning and don't have sound check till 4. You know, you've got to fill that time. So I started bringing my golf clubs more. I've started, you know, we try to, some of the guys like to go climbing, indoor climbing and things like that, and stay busy. And but it's a challenge.
Mm-hmm. So maybe a 2-hour show involves a lot more than that. A lot of time traveling to the location, setting up. So it's not just constantly, you know, something going on.
Right, but you know, my brother's been my manager, and he's been really good as far as making it a tight tour schedule. So it's not a ton of driving in between shows. Like we go to Gadsden, we'll be able to do a show in South Carolina or somewhere, not, you know, maybe in Georgia or not too far away, or even another place in southern Alabama or something like that. So where it's not, you know, it used to be where you do a show one day, then fly across the country the next day, and that's just that's when it really gets hard. That's when it gets hard.
Too much traveling there.
Yeah. It's just you're changing time zones every day. You know, you know, I've done gigs where, you know, I'm driving, you know, going to a show, and the guy calls like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm on the way." Like, "Well, it's Eastern time, you know." No,
I'm an hour late. Oh no.
So I went from chilling out to being in full panic mode. So that you know, you forget that we do run on time zones in this country.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
It's happened more than once.
That would be me for sure.
Man.
Well, Tim, I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know you probably, like you said, you don't get a lot of downtime, but I appreciate
I got to feed the dogs, man. I got stuff to do.
Got to go milk the cow, mow the lawn, all that stuff.
I got to milk the cow. That's right. Take out the trash.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I'm very busy.
Important stuff. Instead of talking to some goofy DJ, get out and got to do something.
If you're talking to a comedian before noon, dude, you're not. He's got nothing going on. Trust me.
Right, I'm boring. I don't have anything happening right now.
That's right. I'm sure you have a lot more than I do.
I want to remind everyone again, Next Friday night, October the 11th, and let's say I'm going to sure get this right, it's the church at Wills Creek. If you're going to Gadsden, go on Interstate 59. You hang a left on 759 like you're going toward the Gadsden Mall, and the church is the big church on the right. Can't miss it. So everybody plan on going down next Friday and seeing Tim. And Tim, if you'll hang on after we close this out, I want to tell you a couple of things right quick, and then we plan on seeing you down there next Friday.
Awesome, man. Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Tim. Hang on just a second.
All right.